everyone, and welcome to day 3 of Sustainable Fashion Week US Slow Fashion Workshops. I hope you guys have got a chance to watch day 1 and 2. We had a lot of stuff going on. We named our upcycling winner. Congratulations again to all the participants. Day 2, you got to meet our very first sustainable fashion ambassador. And today we will be announcing our next contest. So make sure you watch the entire video so you can see that. I hope you've learned something new in the past couple of days. I hope you guys are engaged and inspired and motivated to stay sustainable and push sustainability. And if you have any questions or you want to participate or you want to donate, please check us out at our website, sustainablefashionweek.us. Thank you guys, and enjoy day 3.
So I have my waste here, all the waste from my recent collection. I'm carrying it in the basket, and we are heading to this business where the artisans, the ladies with loss of hearing, together. Let's see what we can do with our zero waste. Let's go. Nice to be back. Nice to see you. How are you doing? Hello. Hello. I'm so happy to. Long time. It's been a long time. Yes. But what I have brought to you is the leftovers from my collection. Okay. All the fabric pieces. Okay. And I would want our lovely ladies to turn it into something of value that we can use. Please have a look and let us know what we can do together.
Yes. What do you want exactly? Do you have an idea?
Yes.
Of course, you want that to do with them?
Well, yes, one of the ideas would be to make wonderful shoelaces, as the ladies are already doing now.
Yeah.
Another idea is to make accessories.
Okay.
Pretty accessories.
Okay.
But what do you recommend? What is your recommendation?
I think that we can do shoelaces with these ones easily. This is not a problem, but here I'm afraid that it is small, but let me see. Maybe we do some hairbands.
Okay,
if
sounds
you
good.
want.
Some beautiful.
Or some shoelaces for babies, for little boy or
yes, that'd be
girl,
nice.
for children.
Beautiful shoelaces for kids, for the children would be wonderful.
Surely we can use them.
You
can make beautiful items with them. Don't worry about that.
That's so good to know that we can actually use up all my waste.
Yes.
It's so much, such beautiful colors and fabrics here.
Yes, we can use them all. But what we are going to do, leave me 2 days to think and to read, to watch them with my team. And we see what to do exactly with all these. But be sure that we can use them for you.
That would be wonderful. So I look forward to turning these leftover fabric that I have created through my own designs. This is what I would have discarded, but that's not what I'm going to do. We're going to use the artisan ladies here, and we're going to turn them into usable items. All these little pieces that have been cut out will be reused and loved again. Thank you. So I'll come back.
This is a very good idea.
Yes?
Now you have to use everything. No waste.
No waste.
No waste.
No waste.
Yeah.
Zero waste.
Zero
No
waste.
waste. Zero waste.
Okay.
Total.
Okay. This is not a problem. We work about it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Hi. So I am here to show you what I do with my zero waste after I make my O dress. So I'm wearing my O dress. It has a matching mask. But sometimes we have excess, which are these fabrics, which are excess and it's just waste. Look at the strings. And some of these from the leftovers. And this is going to be a workshop where we're going to show you what we do with the excess waste that comes off from my O dresses and my other clothes. We have our shoelaces here. They're work in progress, you can see. Shoelaces, different size, some for children. Starts off as strips, and then eventually they get closed up this way. Then they're packaged beautifully, and that's an example of them. These are, there we go. The longer pieces that we have, they're sewn together, and there's a wire sort of band that is put inside it and very bendy. And if it's bent, then we come up with something very sweet where you can just tie it on like a bow there. The larger pieces, we turn them into items that look like this. You can see, sewn here, beautifully done. And that's it on this model and tied as a nice sweet scarf. These are all my wastes. Then we have this one with an elastic band, and it's knotted there. And you can see it here. There it goes on the hair. We move on further, and then we have a lot of other things that come with the smaller bits are turned into lovely scrunchies. So you can see we've got a basket full of them. So we've got, all these are my O dresses. Beautiful. And they have, maybe I can find, yeah, there it is. The one I'm wearing. Scrunchie for it. Yes. And then these are, this is the process of making the scrunchie. You have them in strips like that. They're sewn together. Then an elastic band is put in there. So you'll be able to see the whole process. And whatever's left over, we're making little, in Africa, we actually use boards. We're using this as dusters for boards or for putting your pins in. So we're going to go through the process, the workshop, and show you step by step how to get these items that we use for zero waste. Thank you. We're going to make a scrunchie now, and this is the fabric we have here. We have 7 inches going down this way, and then we have 50, so 7 inch by 50, and the fabric is folded. And that's for a scrunchie. That's for a scrunchie. That's going to go now to the workshop. Scrunchie that she cut, and she's sewing it down There it is. It just and she's turned it around. She'll cut off the bit. And now she's putting it inside the metal. And when she finishes, she would have done this, which you can see. So she pushed all the fabric, scrunched it all the way down, and now she's sewing around it. And she's cutting away all the bits. So she's made a hole there. She took the needle and made a hole and removed 1 or 2 stitches in the middle. And she's tightened the side that she removed so that it's knotted and it doesn't open up. Knotted the other side. That's fine. She's pulling it from inside, from that gap. Wow. Amazing. And it turned into that. Very nice. Now she's looking for that little gap she made. Can be difficult sometimes, and she's found it. So she's put a pin on an elastic band, and I would say the elastic band is about roughly about 24 centimeters, and the pin goes in, so she can always use the pin. She held that one back with the pin so that she can carry on through. come out there. Wow. Both of them are out. Sewn together, cut out, there you go, put it inside, then she goes to her little opening there, folds it together, closes it up, cuts out the threads. And now we have a beautiful scrunchie. Thank you. Well done. And let's do. Well done. Congratulations. Okay, so this is the next one we're going to make, and this one is exactly this beautiful, when you tie it, it's got a bendy bit inside, and we're about to cut that. This is the cutting table. So the measurement of it, okay, so she wants to cut out so it's folded, and we'll take the measurement. We'll measure that, and that's 47 centimeters, and we have 39 centimeters, and so that's what we have. And then I believe this will be part of the items used for this one. So once they go to the work sewing machine, I believe this will be introduced. And this is the bit that is inside that gives it the bend, so that like it can bend like that. All right, that's going to the workshop. So this is the headband that requires the bendy item, and she folds it. It's folded into half, and the stitching starts. Close it. So we're sewing it across this way. Before the first stitches were done that way, and now we've taken it this way, so you have that T section here. So now that is closed. Back again to the open section. So we have the bendy wire. Bending it round to give it that look. So you've opened it all up. Now we're on, so it's all there. There we are. And now we're about to put in the bendy wire in through the side along the stitch area. There it is, all the way there to the top. Pulling out the corners so everything is straightened out. And then we sew over. The bendy bit is right in here. There's the bendy bit. On the other side, the bendy bit is turned around so that there's no sharp. It's curved and turned around into a little ball. And it's fitted right into, it's fitted perfectly in there so that it's not sticking out. And now she's going to stitch over it. Keeping it in firmly in place. For neatness, we're closing the edges. There we are. folded in with a tiny seam. Stitched just at the tip. Bit of a fussy one, but with a steady hand. And then we have our headband, and well done. Very well done, thank you. So that's like easily done. That's it, finished, the finished product. And it has the band, and then maybe I can, and you can, there, perfectly. All right. So right here we have cut the strips, there they are, for 115 centimeters shoelace. And then we've got them here, 115 centimeters shoelace. This lady, she's going to make it. Shoelace about to start. Cut at the top, folded, and there's a slip there, and it's folded, and it's folded. You need to be good with the machine and fold it and just go. And fold it in again. And that's the length of the, we cut the ends. And so this is, it just needs a straight, a steady hand folded, and at the end you add the lace bit in there on both sides, and then you have your shoelace. So this doesn't require anything other than just to buy the bits there, but it's just having a steady hand and going through it and folding it. to make the scarf. And this scarf is what the lady, this one is right here. This is another sample. And the way to do it, we have one of our tailors here, and she's cutting out 4 inches of rectangle of this. She's making 2 of them. That's what she's cutting out. And this one is 10 inches by 15.5 inches. So she's managed to cut out 10 by 15, and then she's done 2 of these. So in order to get this, you need 1 of these and 2 of these. And I believe that's what she's doing now. She's making sure that it lines up. And the rest of that comes out there is going into our bag, and that's going now to the sewing machine to make a scarf. About to make a scarf, an easy to tie scarf. You just put it on and then you just tie it around. So different fabrics, and then this is the one that we had the 3 pieces. We had the 1, 2 and a 3, and she starts off by folding it, and here goes the stitches. So the stitch went this way, and then it moved down and it closed on the other side, and the next one's going in without starting at the top tip. Going all the way down to the stitch. With our 2 pieces. Now we're going into our rectangle. The rectangle is not folded. It's 1 rectangle. And the seams folded twice. One side done. The opposite side is being done as well now. Double folded. Double fold.
So we're cutting, following the that's cut following the from the sharp, from the pointed bit, and then it stops there. Now we're using this item. We're going to use that. If you have a pencil or a pen, you could use a pencil or a pen to push it in from there. There we go. So that it's no longer interlap. Again, from the pointed side, just put it there. And with the pin, we bring out the corner so it's tidy. Okay. We're folding it in on the seam, just a little bit. So what we are pleating it, crunching it with our fingers, creating a sort of like fan-like fold there, and popping it into that gap and stitching it over. So once again, the other side, just grip it, hold it complete. Stick it into the top bit there, down flat. Stitch them closely and tightly together. So finish, and that's it. It's finished. It's beautiful. There you go. You can see how beautifully made it is. And I will try to show you, and it ends up becoming a scarf. It's a scarf. For those of us that don't know how to tie scarves, this is an easy scarf to wear. Very easy. And let's thank the ladies. So I would like to conclude that all these ladies that have been working here are loss of hearing. The tools that we used for the scarf here was, she just used this, I think, and she used a little pin. So she used this and a little pin and her scissors. And that's all she needed. And for this lady, we used the scissors, and we used just one of these. And I think at some point she probably used a little pin to make the edges sharp. With the lace, we just didn't need anything, just a pair of scissors. And with the scrunchie, we used a pin, some elastic band, and maybe she used her little pin as well, just to pick at it. But that's basically the tools and the sewing machine and the hands of the wonderful ladies. So we want to say thank you. This is the proprietor, the lady who is in charge of all this, and our goal is there are 4 ladies here, but there are about 10 other ladies who need waiting to work. And if we can use up our zero waste and get it here, then the ladies will have work, and that's our goal. The goal is to have these ladies find and keep them in employment. The other one is over there feeding her baby. So thank you very much for watching us, and we'll show you more. Thank you. And here's the other one. This is it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. You want to count and let me know damage. So you finish up the shoelaces, right? Yes. Yeah. Okay. And only the shoelaces and the tissue, right? Okay. Finish one. The rest.
Chablis Designs. Since the pandemic began, I've been working with a fabulous company right here in East Orange, the House of BAV, along with artist Bridget Ortiz, the fabulous Bridget Ortiz, and her husband, Cortez Ortiz. They have a wonderful shop, 359 Main Street, East Orange, New Jersey, and we've been doing some fabulous things. They've been also showing me and re-educating me on sustainable fashion. They're hosting a sustainable fashion week, and they allowed me to be a part of it. This year, we're going virtual, and so is Dorsey's. So, I decided to join Bridget Ortiz as we go right into New York City and do a big program for Material of the Arts. Right here in New York, right here in Queens. And guess what, guys? I'm bringing this show to you. Spring Splendor 2021. This is it.
That we picked up from all sorts of places that were going to basically throw them out. You can check it out. We got art projects made out of all sorts of stuff that you guys would find. Beads, buttons, all sorts of details. And then we have these classrooms where we teach classes to kids, to teachers, to artists. and it's just reusing all this creative stuff to make
Sustainable.
things possible.
Wow,
So
wow,
yeah,
wow.
thanks for coming out today.
How are you? This is Bless. Yeah. Oh, you taking pictures already?
Hey guys, we made it to Materials for the Arts. I'm here with one of the hosts today is Blitz. I want you guys to meet her.
Hi everyone.
All right. So you were taking us through the warehouse.
Yes.
Let me know what's going on here because it's just too much. It's overwhelming.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I know this project is really going to be a great one today. You said we can use anything, huh?
That's right. And so we're a creative reuse space. This is a 35,000 square foot warehouse.
Oh my God.
And we have all kinds of fabric. We have buttons. We have beads. But we also have some household items, regular items that you can reuse.
Yeah.
And to create.
So why are we here today? Why are we here today?
So today, Tyrone is here as a part of our fashion and sustainability event. And so we'll be showcasing the ways you can create different fashion looks from reusable materials, from reusable scraps, from things that maybe you would discard.
Well, take us on in here. Let's see what else we got.
Maybe in your fashion creations you would want to incorporate something from the housewares, incorporate maybe some pillows, some different fabrics that we have down here, things that maybe you wouldn't traditionally use when you're creating a fashion ensemble. But at Materials for the Arts, we try to encourage our members and the public to take a second look at the items around them. I don't even know what these are, but there are a lot of these, and these are really unique. So maybe they could be incorporated in some kind of ensemble.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm ready to get started, okay?
Yes.
All right, Bliss. Hey, it's nice meeting you. There's more to see. And guys, we're going to come right back. Stay tuned. Thank you.
It's Tyrone, right? So Tyrone, it's Tyrone.
Did you know fashion is the second biggest polluter next to oil in the world? Imagine we all have a role to play in it. So let's find ways to reuse what we have.
Look at me, I'm smiling behind a mask.
So tell me, what's the key to fashion?
The key to fashion, I believe, is spark.
Okay.
I believe it's spark.
Spark.
When you look at something and you go, oh, it's spark. And that could be anything. It could be black.
Okay.
It could be gray, but
Okay.
it has to spark your imagination.
Okay. And that's all I need today. And where are we today?
We're at Materials for the Arts.
There you go, guys. Material for the Arts. Where we are.
All right. So my name is Kathy Moe, and we are at Materials for the Arts.
There you go. Get yourself. Hey everybody, look, we're at Material for the Arts, not behind the scenes. I'm with the stylist, the imaginative artist, the designer, Victor. Hey, why don't you tell everybody who you are real quick?
My name is Victor Perlman from Chicago, Illinois. Moved here 2 years ago just to pursue my education in fashion.
Oh, okay. Are you attending school right now?
I'm at Borough of Manhattan Community College getting those gen eds done so I can transfer to FIT.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so what is the keys to fashion?
Keys to fashion, I would say innovation, you know. That's what's up. I don't know. Keys to fashion, don't stop, just do it.
And
Go.
if somebody wanted to come and visit your site, your website, or your art, where should they go?
Just go to V Perlman, that's on Instagram, or victorperlman.com.
Victor Perlman.
Or 2085 no, excuse me, that's my address. They're gonna go to 435 Broadway Avenue.
Okay, so you can slide that mask down real quick, because only me and you here, and you can say that for a real life.
435 Broadway Avenue, V Perlman, victorperlman.com, Ricky Davey.
That's what's up.
If you want to, you can take off your mask. I'll keep mine on. That way you don't have to worry about it, if you'd like. So you designed the clothing you're wearing tonight, is that correct?
Yes, the model and designer for
Oh,
today's
wow.
look.
Tell us a little bit about your look today.
Sure, this is a
When the last bell go, everybody walk right back out, don't wait. Okay? So let's start again. Then you say, okay?
What's the key to fashion? Say it quick.
Passion fashion.
Key to fashion.
Confidence.
Key to fashion.
Confidence.
Key to fashion.
Passion.
Key to fashion.
Very much passion.
Key to fashion.
Sexy.
Quick over the, shoulder shawls, the capes, and the gowns. This is actually a quick jumpsuit. As you see, stretch those legs, girl, work it. Yes, for freedom, because people like to be free. And these garments are ball them up, throw them in your bag, and travel. That's how these young ladies like to live. We're on a plane, and very soon we'll be flying again. So this is the international collection. Special thanks to Sonia Scott and Natasha for an outstanding job, for all of our scholarship awardees, and an opportunity for all of them to reach the heights that they will be able to achieve through this program, the Dawson's Community Foundation. To all of our sponsors, we appreciate you and thank you so much for being a part of this virtual presentation. 2021, I thank you again. I'm Tyrone Chablis. It was a pleasure being your host and your personal fashion designer.
Hi, I'm Jen Mésan of the Urban Sewing Society, and I want to take a moment to thank the Sustainable Fashion Week for allowing me the opportunity to present this workshop on creating a upcycled denim patchwork skirt. I'm really excited about presenting this today and taking you through the steps on how to piece together the patchwork and create this denim skirt. And you can use this technique on pants, jackets, bags, whatever kind of upcycle project you might have in line. So here are your list of supplies, and your main supply is going to be 3 to 5 pairs of jeans. One of those pairs of jeans needs to fit you in the waist and the hips, because that is the part that you're going to use for the top portion of the skirt. So measure from the top of that waistband down to the bottom and keep that measurement in mind, because you'll need to have this measurement for your finished skirt. All right, let's jump right into it. Hi everyone, my name is Jen Mésan and I am the owner and operator of the Urban Sewing Society, where we bring fashion and creativity to your neighborhood. For the last 30 years, I've been teaching sewing classes, and over the last 15 years, I have really enjoyed upcycling. And I've been teaching upcycling, taking my students out to the thrift stores and encouraging them to go into their closets, and instead of giving away those clothes that don't fit anymore, taking them and turning them into something that's absolutely fabulous. Over the last year, I've concentrated a lot of my efforts around upcycling denim, and I have just fallen in love with upcycling denim. So a couple months ago, I did a upcycled denim patchwork dress that I created from a pattern. And I typically will create my own designs, but I wanted to give instruction around using a pattern for upcycles, because a lot of people like to work with patterns. They like to be able to follow instructions and put things together with someone giving them instructions. So for one of my classes, I used a pattern for an upcycle, and I love the way it came out. And so today I'm going to do a different version of that with you, and it's going to be a denim patchwork skirt. So we're basically going to take that dress and chop it in half and only use the bottom part of it. That's what we're gonna talk about today. And I'm gonna take you through the steps of how to pull together a patchwork denim skirt. You can make this skirt whatever length you want. If you wanna make it mini, if you wanna make it come just below the knee or longer, it's totally up to you. I'm gonna probably make it a little bit longer than knee version. I wanna wear it with some cute boots in the winter time. And then if I get tired later on and I decide that the longer skirt isn't working for me, I can always cut it off later. We're gonna start with 3 pairs of denim jeans, and we've got the 3 pairs of denim jeans. What I like to do when I go and thrift, or I'm pulling jeans out of my closet that I'm no longer wearing, I really like to look for brand name jeans. So I prefer to go with brand name jeans because the quality of the denim is always a lot better. So this pair here is a St. John jeans. Quality is really great. In fact, the quality is so good, when it came time to taking the zipper out and removing that part, it was very difficult. It was sewn together very well, as opposed to some jeans that you might buy that may be less expensive. You might find that the quality and the wear is not as good. When you're looking and you're out in thrift stores and you're trying to find some jeans to upcycle, always look at the names and see who makes them, and that will help you. So we've looked at the jeans that we have, and as you saw, I started cutting, and this is what I've come up with. So for the first pair of jeans that I cut up, these are my squares. They were all about 6 inches wide, but they have different length measurements. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to look at where I can see there's a straight line, and I'm going to start to even these up and make these squares. They're going to be more rectangles and not so much squares, because as you can see, they're actually kind of long. As I get into the other jeans and start to cut those up, I'm probably going to have the same. There'll be more rectangles as opposed to squares, and then I will begin to show you how we'll piece them together. I like to piece my denim together by alternating the shades. I don't want to put 2 of the same shade next to each other, because I'd like to have some variety. And with this skirt, you can decide to have have the seams on the outside or the seams on the inside. So for the sake of this video, we're gonna do the seams on the inside, and we're gonna do some top stitching so that we'll have a nice clean finish. But again, you can take this and make this your own style and do whatever you like. I'm only gonna give you the process, and you just take your creativity and put your creativity into it and make it your own. So I hope you enjoy the video, and I would love for you to show me what your finished projects look like. Please reach out to me on Instagram at The Urban Sewing Society or on Facebook at The Urban Sewing Society. I also have a Facebook group where we have sewing classes and we share sewing ideas. And then I have my sewing the Urban Sewing Society Facebook page that you're welcome to like and follow for more upcycling ideas. So let's get started on this project. It is going to be fabulous. Okay, your first step is going to be to cut those heavy fat fill seams off the insides of the jeans. Put those to the side because you may need them later for another upcycling project. And then what I do is I take the legs of the jeans and I measure about 5 or 6 inches in the width. The length is going to change and vary because the front part of the jeans is always shorter and more narrow than the back side of the jeans. And I typically cut my rectangles or squares up to the thigh portion of the jeans. That's another pretty wide portion of the jeans, so you want to go up as far as you can, not cutting into the pocket. And then I'm trimming off these extra seams and tossing those to the side because again, you may need those a little later. I'm not worried as much here of making everything really straight. I just want to get the pieces cut so that I can go back in later and straighten them out. I'm also taking a moment to press the squares and the rectangles because I want it to be nice and flat. That makes it easier when I take my ruler and my chalk and go in and straighten out those edges. If you notice here, the seam is uneven. It's kind of on an angle, and so it's really important to work on the other 3 sides first. Make sure that those 3 sides are even, and then you can even up across the top. Yes, you will lose a little bit of fabric, but again, keep those scraps to the side and use them later. And so here I continue to cut on the straight line using my ruler, cutting off all the excess and making sure that I'm coming up with a even square or even rectangle. And I begin to kind of match up the pieces kind of randomly. I like to keep various shades of the denim next to each other instead of just having 2 dark pieces next to each other and then having 2 light pieces next to each other. I try to piece them together kind of random for the design and just continue to even up the sides. And after you even up the sides, you notice some of the edges kind of curl up. It's important to go back in with your iron and press those nice and flat. And sometimes I can take a piece that I've already cut into a nice even rectangular square and put that across the top and cut around it and make sure that that other piece is nice and even. This process is going to take you a little bit of time, so make sure you have a little time on your hands. Be patient with yourself. Don't try to cut corners. Really, don't throw away those scraps either. What I like to do next is take my patches and arrange them in a random selection. So I take the light and match it with the dark, and the dark match it with the light, so that I have a good variety. And then I begin to pin them together at the sides and create my panels. For my skirt, given the length that I want it to be, I'm going to need about 6 or 7 panels. So depending on the width of your skirt will determine how many panels you will need. Now you are at the machine and you are sewing your patches together to create these long panels. My skirt ended up being about 36 inches long, somewhere between 30 and 36 inches long. But you have to take into consideration that there is a yoke at the top. So you want to make sure that you are making your panels to the length plus the yoke. So you want to take that yoke into consideration. Remember, at the beginning, we measured from the waistband to the bottom of the yoke. If that is 10 inches and you want your skirt to be 20 inches, then you only need 10 inches more of a panel at the bottom. So make sure that you're making the measurements and you're making the skirt to the length that you desire. Now I'm stitching this at about 1/4 of an inch, which gives me just enough room to go back in and do a top stitch on each one of these. After I do the top stitch, I want to take this to my ironing board and press it really good. This is really, really important. The pressing is always going to give you a really nice professional look. Now, if you notice here, I took some distressed pieces that I had left over from another project and I added them. This is the time where if you want to add embellishments or do something extra, maybe sew some of those scraps onto the patches, this is where you really want to add in those extra touches. So I decided to add in this pocket that I had from a previous project onto the yoke, and I'm really happy that I decided to do that because I felt like it gave an interesting pattern to the top of the skirt. Otherwise the skirt was looking kind of plain, but when I added this pocket, which is a total contrasting color or shade from the other denim, I thought it gave for a really interesting look. So I plugged that in here and stitched around it. I used denim thread to go over the stitches that were already in the pocket so that it matched up really nicely. And then I took this over to my iron and I ironed it. We're going to spend a little time here working on the yoke portion of the skirt. If you notice, right under the zipper, the seam is curved, and this seam must lay flat in order for the front of your skirt to lay flat. So what I've done is I've gone in here and I've clipped inside the curve, folded it over flat, and then take it to my sewing machine and stitch right on top of the stitches that are already there. It's best to use some thread that matches so that you don't have contrasting thread or cover up the color that's already there. Once you sew that flat, make sure you take it to your ironing board and press. While you're at your ironing board, also press those panels really good. Sew, top stitch, and press. Sew, top stitch, and press in that order. If you find that you've missed any of the panels, go back in and do those top stitches and then press them down. Here I'm just going through to make sure that I've completed each one of the panels. I did find that there were a few that I missed, so I had to go back in and take them back to the sewing machine. But in general, I really like the way they came out. You can use different shades of denim if you like, or all the same. It's really up to you. So the next step is to make sure that these panels are nice and even. So this is where your ruler comes in. You can measure on one side, mark, and then straighten out the other side. However it works best for you. Some of the panels you'll find will have some longer pieces, some will have some shorter pieces. You know, it's your design preference is what comes in at this part. So for me, I try to even up with the most narrow piece in my panel and align all of the other squares and rectangles with that larger piece. And here I started to match up the panels with each other. I wanted to make sure that the light pieces of denim were not right next to other lighter pieces of denim. I wanted the contrast to really show. And I did create an extra panel that I ended up taking out at the end. I just wanted to be sure that I had enough panels to go all the way around. And again, I ended up using that leftover panel in another project. So none of this is going to go to waste. So once you decide which panels you want to be next to each other, you can begin to pin these panels together, because you're going to take them over to the sewing machine and you're going to start to stitch. So here I lay them one on top of the other, and then I start to pin my pieces together. What I didn't want is for seams to be right next to each other. I wanted them to be somewhat staggered. So this meant that I had to play around with the pieces for several minutes before I felt like they were aligned perfectly. Make sure when you're pinning, you pin all the way from the top to the bottom so that the pieces do not move around. Always pin with the head of the pin near the edge of the fabric so that they're easy to remove as you start to sew. And I did this all the way around until I was completely satisfied with the way the panels were lined up. And believe me, this does take a little bit of time. Now I'm at the sewing machine sewing the panels together. I had 6 or 7 panels here. Once I sewed straight, I sewed on top and did a top stitch on each one. And this is important not only for the design, but also for the reinforcement. Then after I sewed everything together, it kind of looks like a quilt. It is very similar to sewing a quilt. I tried the skirt on to make sure that it was going to fit, and that's when I realized that I had an extra panel that I could get rid of. The next step was to try the yoke on, which obviously fits perfectly in the waist and in the hip, and then put the skirt on and see if that's going to fit. And I wanted to see, where do I want those distressed pieces? Do I want them in the front, on the side? I started folding it over, and eventually I pinned the bottom of the skirt to the yoke to see where I wanted it to be placed. And this is really important. I mean, you know, if you're going to go for a shorter skirt or a longer skirt or even in between, you really want to make sure that any designs that you've added onto it are in the place that you want them to be. And so take some time to play around with the placement. After this step, I removed the extra panel that I didn't need that was towards the back, and I decided to keep the distressed pieces on the front of the skirt. I attached the bottom of the skirt to the yoke, sewed it completely around, as you can see here. You can go in with your serger and finish off these raw edges if that makes you feel more comfortable, but you also will flip it back over on the right side and top stitch around the top of the yoke. You can do your top stitch either on the yoke part or the skirt portion, and then again take it over to your ironing board and press it down good and flat. The last thing I did was lay the skirt out flat and even out the bottom of the skirt. Now this is an interesting design feature if I decided to leave it uneven at the bottom, but I prefer to just cut it straight across, turn it up an inch, and I stitched it with the sewing machine for the hem. Nothing real special. If you want to stitch it by hand, you certainly can do that. If you want to use your serger, I would recommend that as well. So here is the finished skirt. I really like the way it turned out. It had a bit of a flare at the bottom, but again, you can make the skirt in any length. You can do this on jackets, you can do this on bags, you can do this on any kind of item. Once you learn how to do the process, you can do this on any project, any upcycling project. So I hope you enjoyed, and please let me know if you decide to try this out. Bye.
Hello everyone, welcome to House of BAV. I'm Bridget Ortiz, and this is Cortez from esoteric urbanism. And we are collaborating together to create denim upcycle products, the jacket he's working on, as well as several tote bags for Denim Day. Denim Day is a day that's about supporting domestic abuse survivors. And we support the cause, and we would like you to support the cause. So go find out about Denim Day and how you could support Denim Day and how you could purchase one of these many upcycled denim pieces that we've made. Thank you and have a great day.
Hello everyone and welcome to Sustainable Fashion Week, Upcycle with Me, African Kaftan Edition. My name is Damola. I am the owner and designer of Mésan, and I'm here to work with you on creating this beautiful African kaftan. You probably saw the pictures already of the sample that we made, but today you are going to be making something that looks exactly or similar to this. So get ready. You either have a kit that you purchased that has some beautiful fabrics that are already pre-cut into 1.5 yards for you with some glue and some measuring tape, or you have a blanket or some curtains. Today, actually, this black fabric that I'm using used to be a tablecloth. I've had it for years. At one point it was a tablecloth, then I made it into a curtain, and now it's gonna be a kaftan for me to wear around the house because we're all at home all the time now, so might as well wear something a little fancy. So you're going to need at least a 1.5 yards of fabric, or 2 yards, depending on your size. If you're a size small, all the way up to a large, you can use 2 yards. I'm sorry, you're going to need at least 2 yards of fabric. 1.5 yards would be decent, but it's going to make your kaftan a little bit shorter, maybe about hip length. If you're more curvy, that'll drive it up a little bit. But if you want something that's a little bit longer, maybe about mid-thigh, then you want to use 2 yards of fabric. A quick way for you to find out if you have 2 yards of fabric, this is a trick that I learned from my mom when I was younger. Take the fabric, hold it with your thumb, stretch your arm out, and then pull it to the center of your clavicle. That should be approximately 1 yard. And then you do it again. And so I have close to 2 yards here. I have really long arms. So for me, this is 2 yards. For the average person, that's definitely enough. All right, so the first step here is to fold your fabric inside out. You want to turn you want to fold it inside out. So fold it halfway, and then you're gonna lay it out on your workstation, whether it's your table, your floor, or wherever you want to lay it out. We're gonna get started. So I have with me my scissors and a chalk for marking. You can use a pen if you have lighter fabric, or a pencil. Just make sure it's on the inner part of the fabric so that it doesn't bleed through the other side. Some people use a sliver of soap for this. You can do that as well. And I have a measuring tape here. So if you bought a kit, get out your measuring tape. If you don't have a measuring tape, you can use a ruler. So I have my glue here with me as well. No sewing needed for this workshop. So we folded our fabric inside out. That was step 1. I have it written down because I tend to forget that I'm showing people how to do something, and so I'll just get in the zone being all artsy and forget to tell you exactly what I'm doing. So I have it written down, so if I look down every now and then, that's why. So yes, we folded our fabric inside out, and now you want to get the measurement for, we want to cut the neckline. So after you fold it once, you're going to fold it again. And I will turn the camera down in a little bit so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So we have it folded once, and then I'm going to fold it again the long way. right? So we folded it into 4 now. We have, we folded it 4 ways. So I don't have a professional camera crew or anything, so every now and then I will need to shift gears and move the camera so I can make sure that you are seeing exactly what we're doing here. So after you fold it 4 ways, you have the open corners right here, and then you have the closed corner of your fabric where the fold is. This is going to be your center line. This is going to be your neckline. Okay? So what we're going to do is for the neckline, you're going to measure, take your ruler or your measuring tape, you're going to measure 2 inches down. If you don't have something to measure with, just about the length of your pinky down, going on the folded, on the shorter side of your fabric. All right, so I'm going to take that and mark it. And then going towards your arm, the arm side, I'm going to measure 4 inches across. All right. So what you are going to do to create your neckline is draw a curve, or if you don't have something to draw with, it's all fun. You can't mess it up, right? So you're going to cut across to connect the 2. All right. So I'm just gonna take it, and we're cutting through all 4 layers of fabric here. Okay. Woo! You made your first cut. This little cut right here actually is the perfect size for a mask. So if you have like a little elastic and you want to loop it through these ends, it's actually like the perfect size for a mask. Anyways, 0 waste, right? I'm always thinking about a way to not throw away fabric. All right, so we've cut out our neckline. The next step is to cut an opening across the front. Remember that you have an opening in the front of your caftan, and of course the back is closed. So right now, hope this makes sense, what you're looking at is the fabric folded. The neckline we just cut is right here, right? And so we need to cut this opening. So you need to cut through 1 layer to get your opening. You can do this in 1 of 2 ways. I like shortcuts. You know, why make things hard? But I know shortcuts can be difficult for a beginner because I used to be watching YouTube videos, and as a self-taught designer, I watched a lot of YouTube, and so I used to be watching like shortcut. I don't know that. How am I supposed to do that? How did she do that? So I'm going to show you 2 ways. The first way is you can open up your fabric. So now you have it like this. You have your neckline, right? You can open it up and determine the center, all right, and cut straight across. Or if you want to do the shortcut, you can close it again, or fold it again rather, and then just cut through 1 layer across the neckline. Make sure you only cut through 1 layer, but if you mistakenly cut through both layers, we have glue. We'll just put it back together. So I'm going to determine the center of my neckline, and I'm playing with it so I can pull it apart and get my 1 layer, and I'm going to cut down that center. Come on, you did that. We did that. All right, so now we have an opening, we have a neckline. Let's continue. We're gonna work on our sleeves and sides, and then we are gonna be able to start gluing. So I'm going to open this back up, and I'm going to repeat what I said before about cutting it the other way if you didn't want to do the shortcut. So if you decided not to do the shortcut, you're bringing your fabric back to the way we had it in the beginning, right? You had it folded in half. You can see your neckline right there. This is pretending that you didn't cut down the middle yet. So if this was closed, what you would have needed to do is measure how long or how wide your fabric is. So if you have your measuring tape with you handy, of course you should, you know, you're going to measure all the way across. And so I have about 50 yards of fabric here. My halfway point would be 25. So I would measure 25 and then mark where 25 inches is. Right? I would mark it all the way down. And once I've marked it and I feel like I have a straight line, I would then cut all the way through. And by doing that, I have an opening. So you can do one of those two things, whichever makes you feel more comfortable. Again, it's fun, it's learning, no big deal. All right, so we have our center line, we have our neckline. Let's start working on our sleeves. So let me give a little bit of an explanation for our sleeves. If you wear a small, medium, or large, and you have at least 50 inches of fabric, if you purchase the kit, you do. If you're using a blanket or something, you most likely do as well. Most, or even twin size sheets, they come at least 50 inches wide. Between 45 to 50 inches, at least. If you have that, you're good to go. So my sleeve length that I'm cutting out is going to be 14 because I have 50 inches of fabric and because I have really long arms. So for you, do 13 inches. If you wear a small, medium, or large, 13 inch of this cut that we're going to do is perfect. If you wear an extra large, 11 inches would be fine for you. And then if you wear an XX or a 2X, 9 inches on your sleeve. If you have 45 to 50 inches width of fabric, but you wear a 2X, like I said, 9 inches of sleeve length is good for you. But if your width, the width of your fabric is 40 inches and you wear like an extra large or a 2X, then shorten your sleeve length to about 6 inches to make sure that you have enough of a bodice on your caftan to be able to fit you. Especially if you're curvy, if you're more blessed than some of us, then you might want to pay attention to that. It'll make more sense in just a second. So our next measurement is going to be our sleeves, like I said before. So from each side, you're going to measure, I'm doing the bat wing sleeve for a caftan, as you can see. So you're going to be measuring, imagine this to be the side of your fabric. You're going to be measuring 16 inches down, and then your sleeve length that I just described to you, whether it's 13 inches, 14 inches, 11 or 9 inches, you're going to measure that going inward, and then we'll cut it out. So let me just show you what that looks like on the table. You're going to measure 16 inches down on the side, 16 inches. If you want a more dramatic sleeve, honey, this is fun and games. You know, this is just you making something beautiful for yourself. You can literally take this further down and just have a more dramatic bat wing. But, you know, if you don't want to do that, that's fine as well. And so I'm going to go 16 inches down and mark it. And from here, you're going to measure your sleeve length. So for me, like I said, it's going to be 14 inches. For you, it's probably 13 inches or 12 inches or 11 or 9. okay? If you forgot those numbers, if you wear between a small to a large, you are measuring 13 inches from this side, and just take it in a little bit. You want to angle it in a little bit. If you're an XL, you're doing 11 inches, so you would come down to 11 inches from here. And if you're XXL or 2X, you're going to come down even further, about 9 inches, to make room for your lovely curves. So I'm going to do 14 inches from here, and I'm angling it in a little bit, right? So if you feel nervous about this angle that I'm going towards, and you kind of want a measurement for here, let me give you an idea. So your armpit length is 12 inches down from your shoulder. So I'm doing 14 inches in here. I'm going to mark where this point takes me, right? But you can take from the top of your fabric, measure that same sleeve length, measure it going in. So I'm measuring my 14 inches going from the corner, and it stops here. There it is. Right? From that point, measure down 12 inches for your armpit. So I measured down 12 inches, and I have my 16-inch batwing arm. Now what you're going to do is cut to connect the two. All right. Ta-da! Look at that beautiful, look at that beautiful sleeve. That's why I said, like, it's not a big deal. Just angle it a little bit going up to give you that batwing effect. Now, what we're going to do is cut out our side seam. So we are curvy people. We are not rectangles. Even if we feel like we're narrow and not as curvy as most people, you are still not a straight line. The point is, you're not going to cut from here straight down to the bottom of your fabric. You're going to cut out going a little bit on an angle so that you give space for your hips. It'll be more flattering going down this way. In order to do that, I'm going to move this up a little bit so you can see better, right? I'm going to take my scissors, and the fun part about this is, right, if you mistakenly cut this part too wide, then you have a caftan that has more flare, and you can just go back in and cut it even more and then glue it back together. So don't be too nervous and don't be too hard on yourself. So what I'm going to do is just take this and cut at a corner. Cut at an angle, rather. If you want measurements on what I cut, because I know some of us like math, let me just tell you so you get a rough an idea. So from the edge of the fabric, my measurements are 7 inches in. So I measured 7 inches in, or you can measure 7 inches in to start the cut, and then cut all the way to your armpit. All right, do not throw away your scraps. This can be made into a scarf, a headband. You can glue it together to match your caftan. We don't like wasting things around these parts. Whew, halfway there, guys. All right, so now what we're gonna do is, instead of having to repeat all the measurements we just did for this side, I'm going to fold it over on the other side and mimic my cuts. Again, I like shortcuts. If you have pins at home and you want to pin your fabrics together so it doesn't shift, you can do so. But beginner, I doubt you do. So I'm going to work with you without pinning here. So you're going to fold it in half. While I'm doing this, thank you so much for joining this workshop. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for purchasing kits. Thank you for just upcycling and caring for your environment and, you know, seeing what it's like to make your own garment, and supporting Sustainable Fashion Week. Thank you for this opportunity to be able to host this workshop for you, for partnering with Mésan on Upcycle with Me Kaftan Edition. It is absolutely an honor to be able to do this with you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So fold it as perfectly as you can so that you have even sides. I have a slippery satiny fabric here, so it's gonna take me a little bit longer. If you're working with the cotton fabric, like the African Ankara fabric that I sent, that were in your kits, this folding should be a lot easier for you than it is for me right now. All right, so I have folded it in half, and just so you can see, because I'm working with the black fabric and might be hard to pick up on camera. So I have folded over what I did before, and I've drawn this chalk line so you can see my cuts, right? And so we're just going to mimic the wings, the bat wing sleeve that we cut before. You're gonna love your kaftan when you're done. You're gonna love it. And please, please, please do take pictures in them. Send them to me at Shop Mésan, SHOPMESAN. Send it to me via DM. I would love to see it. I would love to see your creation. You're done with cutting. You're done. You're done with cutting. Now, all you have to do is glue everything together and you're good to go. You're done with cutting. You're literally halfway there. Halfway there. Okay, so I'm opening my fabric back up so I can see the outline of my kaftan on the table. Let me show you this beautiful work. Oh, look at that. We got our sleeves, we have our bodice, we have our neckline. Time to glue. Take out your glue, shake it up, and open it. First thing we're gonna do is clean up our neckline. So, to hem your neckline, to hem the center line, literally you're just folding over the fabric. So you're literally just folding it over. Remember, we've been working inside out this whole time. So you're folding it over and applying glue all the way down. So I have the glue open and I'm going to start hemming my kaftan. So I'm just going down the line. You don't need a thick layer of glue, especially because you don't want it to seep through your fabric. So I'm just doing like a very light coating here and just going all the way down. I'm going to be hemming this about an inch, not an inch, that's too long, about half an inch. So I'm going all the way down and then just fold over it and press it down. This glue is permanent. It is washable. It will stay put. So don't worry about washing it. You can wash, wear it, and everything. If you're using a satin fabric like me, you need an even less glue because if not, it will seep through. But the fun part is, let me tell you a secret that us designers know. If I ever have a situation like this happen, where the glue seeps through. Not that I don't create things and sell them with glue, by the way, but if this does seep through, I can dye it. I'll just get some Rit dye. Is it Rit or Right? At like Target, and dye the fabric. Or take a Sharpie to it. That's always a solution. This is where I get a little bit messy, and be careful not to just wipe glue on your caftan. Okay, repeat the same steps on the other side. You can try on your garment gently about 30 minutes after applying the glue, but I wouldn't wear it for at least 24 hours to let the glue really cure. If you're curious as to what glue I'm using Liquid Stitch. This is the only one that I'm really familiar with. I've used other brands in the past, but I honestly don't remember their names. But this one has been like the easiest to kind of work with, and it stays put and dries pretty quickly. So center line completed. Let's move on to our neckline. For the neckline can get a little bit tricky because you have the curves at the shoulders, but it doesn't have to be perfect. No one is going to be staring at your neck that hard to check your fabric. So apply the glue on the front part of your neckline first, like so. So do the front part and fold it over. It does not have to be a perfect round neck. Perfection is not our goal here. All right. Art often is not perfect. So you're just folding it over, and as you can see, it looks difficult because I have that fold over right here on the shoulder part, but it's okay. That's why we're working on one side at a time. Okay, so I'm just applying pressure so it sticks. Do the same thing on the other side. We are hemming the neckline here. If you have like candles or something that have a little weight to them, you can place it on top of those areas instead of applying pressure with your hands, just to help them dry a little bit faster. Next thing you're gonna do is glue down your sides on both sides. When you're gluing down your sides, make sure you leave a little room around the edges. So I'm not applying it right at the edge of the fabric. I'm applying it about a few centimeters in. Because if you ever look at the inside of your garments, they don't stitch at the very edge, right? There's always a little bit of space. So go ahead and apply it. The good thing is with the side seams, even if the glue seeps through, you're not gonna see it on the outside. So you can be a little bit more generous with the glue here. It's not gonna show through. So we're just doing the sleeves right now. So I've applied my glue, and I'm going to gently place the other side on it. Okay. All right, again, press, press, press. All right, press it down. And continue to do the same thing on your side seam. Looks like I need a little bit more glue up here on my neckline, so I'm gonna do that now. And just leave that there. Okay, and then we're gonna do our side seams. Working our way from the armpit down. The good thing with upcycling household things like blankets or tablecloths or even your Ankara fabric is that most of the time the edges come with like a color or a coating already, like the sleeves, so you don't need to hem your sleeves. But if you do, just repeat the same steps that we did on the neckline around the sleeves. Fold it over, glue it down, and you'll be fine. So go ahead and repeat the same steps that we just did on this side on the other side. All right, side seams done. Oh my God, we have one more area that we need to complete and then we're done. So remember that neckline? We did half of it before, right? So now you need to do the back of your neckline. Remember we did the front, we need to do the back. So to do the back, very carefully, because remember you have freshly glued sections here, you don't want to pull them apart. Very carefully put your fabric on the back, like we want to see that back area. Now, and I apologize for any background noise that you may be hearing. I do have a brother who's taking acting classes, and so you might hear some improv and stuff going on in the background. Just a little disclaimer there. So we have we're looking at the back of our fabric, and you're going to do that fold over method, but it just makes it a lot easier for you to do it if you put it on the back and kind of pull it straight and then fold it over that way. So this part can be a little bit tricky. If this corner is too sharp where your shoulder is, you can curve it out more with your scissors. It'll make it easier for you to glue it down. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply my glue. I've been doing this for a while, so I can apply glue and kind of move quickly, but take your time, okay? Do a little bit at a time, fold a little bit at a time so that your glue doesn't dry up on you. Like I said, I've done this quite a few times, and so, you know, I like to move a little quicker. So you're going to fold it over. Like I said, that corner can be tricky, but just work with it, take your time. Hold it down so it doesn't come apart on you, and then just keep working. And if a little glue bleeds through, it's the inside of the fabric, right? So it's okay. I got a little bit too generous with the glue on this side. But it's okay. It's what happens when you're making stuff for yourself. You get to mess it up and fix it. Okay. So just keep folding it over and hold it down. I have some tape here. I'm just gonna put that on there. If you have candles, that'll work. Something to just weigh it down for you. All right, you are done. You finished it. Let me gently try this on. So I left it sitting for about 30 minutes so I can come back. So I'm gonna gently try this on because I don't wanna rip my glue apart and have to do it over again. That's awkward. Okay, so here is my caftan. Now you can wear your beautiful caftan wherever you want. You can see the batwing sleeves that we created. You can see that neckline looks pretty clean, if I do say so myself. Okay, if you want to wear it with a belt, you can. If you want to wear it around the house, you can. And do not throw away your scraps. You can look up on YouTube how to make homemade masks with them so it matches your caftan, or you might even, depending on the size of your fabric, be able to wear it as a scarf. So that concludes this Upcycle with Me Sustainable Fashion Week African Kaftan Workshop. I am so happy that you were able to join me on this beautiful day. I hope that you had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any pictures or anything, make sure you send them to me. If you're interested in trying any more workshops like this that are Upcycle with Me, beginner friendly, follow Shop Mésan on Instagram. Actually, even better, join our mailing list on our website, www.shopmesan.com. That way you get first updates on all things workshop related and all things Mésan related. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye.
Hi everyone, my name is Filip Westerlund. I am the CEO, the founder, and the circular visionary of Our Choice Circular Fashion. So what is a circular sneaker? Well, this is a sneaker based on the principles of the circular economy. It's a sneaker that you can wear for many years to come, and it's a sneaker that will never go to waste. I hope that you saw day 1 and day 2 of the Sustainable Fashion Week, where we talked a lot more about these sneakers and, of course, our fully circular business model. If you missed it, you can always watch the replay. I highly recommend you doing so because you don't want to miss this. Today, I am super excited to announce that we will be hosting, together with the team at the Sustainable Fashion Week, the Sustainable Fashion Week Sneakerhead Design Contest. This contest is nothing short of incredible because the first prize is, drumroll, a collaboration with us, a collaboration with me and my team to create a limited edition sneaker. Isn't that exciting? We will also be opening up this contest to junior applicants, so to young artists and sneakerheads. The prize for the junior winner will be announced at a later date, but I can promise you that it will be good. So stay tuned, go and follow Sustainable Fashion Week on Instagram, learn how to apply, and do apply because I can't wait to see your contributions and I can't wait to work with you on this limited edition sneaker. Let's create some sustainable magic together.